Oh, wait. There you
And
go.
we're live. Hi there. Hey there, YouTube. My name's Mimi, and for once we're hosting Book Babble on my account because our computers hate each other. And
Yeah, I guess.
yeah, so this is Mimi and Jeremy. He's got the hat. I'm Mimi. We're
Yep.
gonna talk about Six of Crows, which Jeremy's gonna hold up because my copy is at my mom's.
Yeah.
So yeah,
This is a really nice looking book.
that's why I
I
bought
think are you playing the video in the background?
what
Because
video?
I'm hearing my I don't know, I'm hearing my own voice somewhere. I don't know where I don't know if it's coming from me or
I'm not playing the video in the background. You're hearing yourself, man.
maybe. Whatever. It's gone now. Never mind. Whatever. Google. Fuck it.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about Six of Crows by how do we say her name?
It's Lee Bardugo.
Sure, we're gonna talk about that. I read this book during Christmas because I caved and read it during Christmas. Jeremy just finished it. It's a great book. I really
It's
liked it.
fantastic. It is.
All
Oh my
those
gosh.
reviews they say on Goodreads that it's like Ocean's 11 meets like Pirates of the Caribbean. Everything they're saying is right because that's what I felt like.
I said it was like Ocean's 11 meets Harry Potter, and like it's like Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban mashed with like Ocean's 11,
I could do that, yeah. I,
and that's how I felt. I was like, this is awesome.
because they were on a ship a lot of the time, I felt like a Pirates of the Caribbean. But that's just me. I was just like adventure, but it's a great
Yeah.
fun book. Jeremy's gonna say all the characters' names because he got to be lucky enough to use his credit on Audible and get it on Audible.
Yeah, I was supposed to save my January credit for our February book for whatever we were going to review in February, but I was like, you know what? I've heard really good things about this audiobook for Six of Crows.
We're reviewing in February. I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, we haven't figured it out yet, actually.
That explains it. But yeah, so it's beautiful because apparently there's different people for each chapter.
Yeah, each chapter has its own individual voice actor for the POVs, and it's really cool. I mean, obviously the POV, each actor also does the other characters that are involved, around. But the main voice for the POV, like say it's Inej, it's the one lady, but she also will do the Kaz when Kaz talks and stuff like that.
That's
And
cool.
there's like the Matthias. The only person we did not get a POV chapter of is Wylan, and I kind of wish we did,
Aw.
but it's cool.
Look at that. That's cool. I like that. It was one of those books where I was excited. I felt there's that whole don't judge a book by its cover thing, but I couldn't help it because it was such a
It
pretty.
had such a cool cover, and it's got and these black pages are so cool. I don't know if you guys can see it,
Yeah, it's
but
hard
these
not to.
pages, it's so badass. Like when I saw it, like when I saw pictures of the book, I was like, these pages are all black. That's so cool. It's kind of like with Anna Dressed in Blood, how they were red, and I was like, that's awesome.
Some of my favorite books I've judged the covers for, and then got really happy because I judged them in a right. I was like, this looks beautiful. I hope it works on the inside, and then it did with this book and some of my other.
That's actually the first time that worked for me was with Daughter of Smoke and Bone. I was like, oh, this cover is really pretty.
Same. So yeah, before we go on a rant about covers, let's talk about the book. Six of Crows is a spin-off for the Grisha series, and I never finished the first one, but that's because I had other things going on and I couldn't be into the book because of other situations. Jeremy, on the other hand, read all of them, so he'll talk about that. But
Yep.
before I let him do that, it's a great book because it's in the universe, which is something I liked about the Grisha series, but I didn't really care for the characters as much. But in this one, I liked everyone, and you get. Yep. You'll say everyone's names and who everyone is properly. I'll leave that part to you just because you got to hear it. So yeah, this, and I'll let Jeremy describe it slightly more just because he got to hear it versus me just binging it and like waiting for him to read it. So go.
Okay, so first of all, like the Grisha trilogy is something that I heard everyone like around the YA community just talk about and gush all over. So I tried it out. I read the first book. I think it's called like Ash and Bone, and that
Smoke and Bone, and I was angry because it was Daughter of Smoke and Bone, and that one I was like, no, this one's better.
But yeah, so it's like there was the first book. I was like, this world is really interesting. This world is really cool. I like the magic system. But I was like, I maybe it was because at the time I was reading like back to back fantasy, like YA fantasy books. So I've seen a lot of the same, tropes, and it was kind of still following in that same formula. So I was at the point in my reading at the time where I was getting tired of it. So the fact that this was kind of the same thing, government, war, abusing people with special abilities type of deal. I was like, whatever. The first book did impress me though, like which is hard for me to do, especially nowadays when I read so many series like and binge through so many series. But the second book was just kind of average, and then the ending really disappointed me. Although the one thing I will say, I really enjoyed the villain for the Grisha series, but I didn't enjoy anyone else nearly as much.
Okay. Sorry, I lost my power cable. Give me a second. So yeah, how would you describe Six of Crows? Like, how do I can say Kaz. That's like the only name I can say right. So Kaz is the main guy.
Kaz is like I've described this to several of my friends when I tried to pitch my friends who actually read novels to read this book. Kaz is pretty much what I would be like if I became Batman. Like, because like I related to Kaz so much, not only because I walk with canes, but I was like, you know what? I would do all of this. As he was going through the motions, I was thinking in my head, I'm like, hit him in the kneecaps, busted kneecaps, pulled his eye out. He pulled his eye. I'm like, oh my God, he's reading my mind. Or I just am a very sadistic person, and I have like this either like really deeply hidden criminal prodigy side to me, because I'm thinking exactly like him, and I should be worried about that as a psych major, but I'm not, because this is cool. I like this guy.
Then we've got Inej.
Yeah, it's Inej. You got it. It's Inej.
She's so sweet, adorable, and violent, and I love her, and I want to hug her because, like, her backstory when you finally get to it's like really dramatic.
Yeah,
poor girl.
She's like the Catwoman to Kaz's Batman. She's the acrobat and the shadow, the thief.
Great. They have a really nice complex. Like, they're one of my favorite types of couples. We'll talk about it more, but like I love the couples where the girl likes the guy, but she's like, I shouldn't like him. He's an asshole, and the guy's like, oh, I don't like this girl, and it's like, oh shit, I like this girl, and I love those.
That's my favorite type of ship, and that's why I was on board for Inej from the first Inej chapter, where she was like, I shouldn't be thinking about Kaz like this, but I'm thinking about Kaz like this.
I was like, yes, you do. But yeah, so those two are great. She's an awesome character. Then we've got the one with the guns.
Oh, that's Jesper. At first I thought it was Jasper, but then I saw it was spelled with an E, and then I heard his name. It's Jesper, not Jasper. Jesper.
Jesper's pretty cool. I like him.
Tons of people ship him with Wyland because of the one scene where
I shipped them because they were that couple there. I thought it was going, and then when they had their scene towards the end of the book, I was like, yes, I am game. That's a post I made on Instagram where I was just like, oh my God, random bisexual couple. I didn't see this coming. I'm so happy.
I honestly would be so down for it. Because I saw it when I first saw that moment where it's like, you can't kiss me from there, And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's another moment. Like, he's great. He's fun though. I love the characters that are like, I can do better with my life. But instead I got into I like those characters where he just
and everybody in this crew is so dark, but him and Nina are so full of energy, and Jesper is so ADHD that he makes everything fun.
Yes, I like him, and then I like him with Wyland, and just as characters because they're fun to Wyland because they're fun to bounce off of each other. Because Wyland's the youngest one in this group of kids. They're all like 17, 18 years old. Like, they're all young.
Which I don't buy for a second.
I felt like they were all in their 20s.
I understand that they had to grow up quickly, but as soon as I heard their real ages, I was like, no way.
Yeah, they all felt older to me because of the stuff they made them go through. But then it's also writing. But I think it's that one annoying part with young adult fiction where you don't really have a lot of characters in your 20s a lot, depending on. And since it's young adult fantasy, they're really not going to be in their 20s. And it saddens me because it felt like they were all in their 20s because of the shit she made them go through. But then it's also good.
And their thought processes and how they dealt with situations. Like, Kaz felt like a grown-ass man. He was
they reacted to things like adults would, which is good writing, but it's just they felt older. I'll do a quick example, but with a lot of the stuff in the beginning of Mortal Instruments, they felt their ages. They felt like 16 little.
Yeah.
I love.
And which is why going back to it, you get more annoyed with Clary, but then you realize, you know what? I was just like this. That's why I connected so well with Clary, Simon.
I'm like, oh God, you were little shits because I was a little it makes sense. So that's why I like watching characters get older. These characters felt older, but that's fine. That's just a comment we have. Inej, Wyland, him.
Jesper, Nina.
Fabulous. I freaking love her. I was really excited.
Nina was like, I instantly felt like Mimi was texting me when I first started reading it, and she's like, "You're gonna love Nina when you meet her," and I'm like, "I haven't met Nina yet," and then as soon as I met Nina, I was like, "Oh my god, yeah." All right, you were
fabulous. She's one of the Grishas in the series. She is the heart stopper.
She is a heart tender corpolinky. Fuck it. Nope. I'm not even gonna try that one.
But she was badass. She's fun. She's one of those characters where like her thing was I can stop your heart, and then technically she could heal people, but it's not how she was taught. So it's very difficult for her, and that's why I like her as character because she's
also kind of like a plastic surgeon in a way. She can like there's this thing called tailoring, where she can alter people's appearances, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And she's also very flirty and like sexy, and she's not afraid to use that. Like, you know.
And she uses it so well, and I'm so proud of her. And that's why I really like her and Inez's friendship, because I love those friendships.
Yeah, it was a very Clary Izzy type of thing.
And it worked really well because it was cute. She got to have the quiet girl and the other one to be like, he likes you. No, he doesn't. Yes, he does. And that whole thing. And they're just cute. And they're singing.
And I love when my favorite scene between those two in particular was when Inez was healing, and then she's like, "Sing me a song, Nina." And then it's like, "I only know stupid bar drinking songs, and trust me, if you made me sing, you'd want to wish you were dead." And she starts singing, and she's like, "You do have a terrible singing voice, but keep going."
How did that sound? I want to know how was that?
It sounded off key, like really off key. Like I took my headphones out at that point, and I was like, "Oh man, they're really going for it." Like I'm pretty, because I'm like, it's weird because I have an ear for music because I play, and I'm like, I can tell by the way she's purposely doing it that she can probably actually sing, but man, when she went for off key, she went off key.
That's cute. What else we got? We got that one. Am I missing people? I feel like I'm missing.
Matthias.
Fun. When I started reading it, I was like, I'm gonna like you. At first, I was like, I shouldn't like you, but I'm gonna like this little shit. Like I just.
I instantly just had a grr type of reaction because I was like, dude, you just pulled a Peter, and I don't like that shit. Fuck that. I don't forgive that. Ever since I saw it happen once, I don't want it to happen again. I instantly had my guard up. I was like, this guy's probably gonna betray them. Fuck this guy.
I like that.
And then when I got more of the relationship, I was like, oh, he's actually a teddy bear. Oh man, I can't be mad at this guy.
I was reading, I'm like, I'm gonna like you. At first I was like, I shouldn't like you, but I'm gonna like you. Like as it was getting built up, I'm like, oh no. Because I was relating to Nina and feeling bad for Nina, and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna like him because I like her, and I'm gonna be like, shit. Like that's how all of it went. Did we miss anybody?
Wyland is the last official member of the crew. And then we can go into the bad guys, which there are only two main bad guys.
Yeah. But Wyland's adorable. He's like the fun little rich kid that can make bombs, and you're like, good for you, kid. You learned how to make explosives.
Yeah, and also it's also really cool because apparently he's illiterate. So he found other skills that is very useful, and it shows that there are other types of intelligence, which is cool.
That's cute. That's good to know. So yeah, how you want to talk about that, guys?
Yeah. Okay. So the bad guys. So the two people that they honestly made pretty much everybody in this book, even our main characters, which we love, are pieces of shit. But man, the bad guys are real pieces of shit. Like that, especially, I don't know about you, but the one I hate the most is freaking Tanta Helene. Fuck that bitch.
Oh no, we have more. We have the bitchy woman. We've got the bitchy douche general, and then we've got the one who's Kaz is dealing with.
Yeah, so there's so Tanta Helene, the general, which was Braun, I think his name was Braun, something like that. And then there was Pekka Rollins, who fucked Kaz over as a child.
Yeah.
Still the one I hated the most was Tanta Helene, because maybe it's because I was bonding I was relating so much to Kaz. So whenever shit happened to Inez, I just got vicariously, progressively angry. And I was like, she's going to die. I'm going to kill her myself. I'm going to jump into this book. I'm going to slit this bitch's throat or make her choke on her own damn diamonds. Like, I was getting so mad.
I disliked her a lot because what all she was representing. But for me, I really disliked the general guy. He was the one I disliked the most.
Oh yeah, like man, that scene where he put Nina in the drug chamber, I was like, if you press that button, I will. I'm like, I'm not. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die of anticipation here. You gotta hurry up.
And then the guy that fucked Kaz over still a douche. So I didn't like any of the villains, obviously, but it's like not obviously. I've liked villains before, but like he just. So yeah, I don't know, con artist, man. So yeah. We tried not to spoil things, but we spoiled things. So now let's go on to the bye viewer. Bye viewers, nice while you lost it.
Let me see. There was also the guy that they're supposed to. Oh yeah, we didn't even really talk about what their mission was to begin with. Like what the. Okay, so they were hired by the merchant who ended up screwing them over. Actually, so he's another villain.
Yeah.
Wyland's dad, Van Eck. And he like hired them to basically break this scientist out of prison, and this scientist has this formula for this like experimental steroid for Grisha to increase like Grisha's powers, but it's also super addictive, so it could it'll eventually either burn out the Grisha or make them so addicted that like they can't live without the drug. And there was a really tense scene towards the end where I'm like, as soon as they introduced it, I was like, Nina's gonna take the drug. Nina's gonna take the drug.
There was a lot of really intense scenes in this book. It was done very well.
Yeah. Oh man. And then Nina took the drug, and I was like, oh god, no.
Handled it so well. It's one of those. It has a lot of really good plot twists. So like part one was the setting up the basics, setting up the mission. That wasn't the title part one, but like it was like we had part one of meeting your gang. Part two was getting them prepared for the mission. Part three was them like on the mission and like their journey to the mission. And the last half of the book was basically the mission itself, all getting executed. Basically.
Yep, and then on their way back.
Yeah, and then like on the way back is like the last part. But yeah, so like it's like. Yeah, that's basically about it. It's one like really long ass journey. It's kind of like when you watch Mad Max, where you like have one really long fight scene. So it's kind of like that, but on a boat.
Yeah, it's one big point A to point B thing, but there's so many twists to get to point B that you're just like, oh shit.
So it worked really well. Like I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Like it worked. It was very good. It had your simple formula, but done in really nice layers that I really enjoyed. That it made me happy. I was reading a really good young adult book because like there's so many young adult books that we read that aren't as good, but that's also because we read so many of it that we're really critical. So it's just nice to have one that like.
And we're kind of desensitized to a lot, especially the fantasy stuff, because like we've seen pretty much everything done. So like we can. It's like we're very quick to predict when shit's gonna happen.
Yeah, since we're now both in our 20s, it's kind of like we've been reading it for so long that when we see it coming, we get really sad when it goes the way we saw it coming for. So it was nice. I actually really liked how many times I read this book, and I was like, oh shit, this is really good. Like I had a really good lot of shock factor in it.
Yeah. And like a book is good when you forget that the characters aren't real and you yell at the characters in the book, because there were plenty of times where I was like, Kaz, you idiot. Kiss her already.
I yelled at Kaz a lot. I yelled at Matthias at times. I yelled at Nina, but then hugged her and was like, I'm sorry I yelled at you, girl. I got sad for things that happened with Jasper, just because of the way they did things. His accidentalness. And I'm just like, oh, poor baby. But I don't know. I like that they all just wanted to do good things for their lives and fix their lives if they got all this money that they were being offered by Wyland's dad.
Yep.
They had all these plans, and I was like, oh, I wanted all of you to succeed and get those plans. Like,
yeah, and then I was just like, oh, and that just sounds the coolest. She wants to be a pirate, and she wants Nina to be part of her crew. I'm like, yeah, do it.
Do it. Creeps that want to sell them, and I'm like, yes, girl, you go do that. Like, I just liked that. There was that. Inez wants to like build his little crazy mobster type lifestyle, basically, and buy out his buy out his shit and kick out his boss. Who's isn't even really a villain. He just the lazy, like he's not a villain. He's just the guy that has the money. So it's not like I don't hate.
Yeah. He was like like the guy that screwed him over was kind of more just a kingpin, like your standard kingpin type character. So I didn't hate him as much because I've seen the archetype so many times.
Yeah, like I wasn't upset. I'm like, you're just like, of course. Like I wasn't like, oh wow, that's surprising. Like it's what you do. It makes sense. Like that's what you're set up to do.
Yeah.
I think some of my favorite scenes for this book, and then like a non-spoiler, is like I loved all their boat stuff. So I loved how everyone reacted to being on the boat. Who got seasick? Who got antsy? Who did this? Yep. That. I liked that, and I really liked the entire castle prison sequence.
Yeah, I loved the banter, like everybody making fun of Matthias, like when they were in his country and they're at the prison, and like when Kaz was like, when he's explaining the ritual for like his soldier, like because he used to be like a soldier or whatever, and he's explaining the ritual and how they get like initiated into their like, I think of the Night's Watch because that's the first thing that came to mind when they described this, and I was like, okay. And then he's like, and Kaz was like, yeah, and this part, and then after that, the talking tree teaches you the secret handshake, and I'm like, oh man, that's funny. My favorite joke between the group was the ghost joke. Where it was like, Cass, I swear to God, if we die, I'm going to get my ghost. I'm going to get Wyland's ghost to teach my ghost how to play the flute so I can annoy the hell out of you for all eternity. And then Nina's like, man, I don't want to, I bet you, man, my ghost will not want to be stuck with your ghost. And then it's like, and then they ask, what about you, Matthias? My ghost will not associate with your ghost.
Yeah. It was cute. I liked everyone's build up. They all worked really well. It's a really good team. I liked the balance, I guess, between men and women. Like everyone knew their part and worked really well together. Oh, my other favorite scene was when they all were running to the boat for the first time, and there was like a second boat.
Oh yeah, that ambush where Inez got stabbed, and I literally kind of like I was reading the book sitting down, and I ended up like flopping onto my bed like I just got stabbed or something. I was like, oh no, not Inez, not Inez.
I was very worried.
In my head, I ended up acting like Kaz in my head. I was pacing and shit. I'm like, please let her be okay. Nina, you better not fuck up, Nina. Like, I was like projecting my worry onto Nina. I'm like, Nina, don't fuck up. Nina, don't fuck up.
It's good. It's very good, but I love books with dual point of views. I'm a sucker for that. I love that. That made me very happy. And there were just so many point of views to pick from, and just. I did also, on an irrelevant note, I really liked that guy from the first chapter, and I'm sad we never got him again.
Yeah, they kind of pulled like a Game of Thrones type of thing, because Game of Thrones tends to do like the prologue type of chapters where they have like the irrelevant character just to show what's coming up and what you can expect for this book. Because like it
was great, and I liked those people, and I'm like, I'm never gonna see them again. And like I kept on reading, I'm like, is he ever gonna come back?
Yeah, he's not coming back. He's dead. Or else I think he's frozen and waiting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And his scene was so funny too, because he was trying to figure out pickup lines for the Grisha chick.
Yeah, and it was cute, and I liked that, and I liked that Grisha too. And then bad shit happened, and I was like, oh.
Oh man.
I think what else? Do we want to go on to the ship factor spot now?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and go into ships.
Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about Wyland and Jasper, because they're the tiniest ship, and like they don't really get a lot, but like you like them. So
yeah. They're like the tugboat ship, kind of like to use like Vampire Academy Bloodlines terms. They're like the jetty of the jetty of the Six of Crows duology.
Where you want them, you don't know when it's gonna happen, but you hope good things happen for them because you like both of them. They're cute. I just love that, and like they're just fun.
And they're the one couple that kind of came out of nowhere. Like Nina and Matthias had set up. You already knew that they had a thing.
You knew Inez and Kaz would probably happen at some point.
And then like I just figured that those two were like people, like they just didn't get along. And then when that line came up, I was like, oh, so that's where it's going. All right.
Okay with that. They're fun. Should we go about Matthias and Nina? Because they had really good build up. I'm all for couples that are supposed to hate each other's guts but then fall for each other. That's my favorite thing ever. All of her jokes I loved, like when they had to stay together for warmth, and he's like, yeah, she's like, yeah, you really hate me. I feel it every morning. And I was like, oh, girl, I love you too.
That was one of the funniest lines. That was great. Nina and Matthias actually reminded me so much of. Maybe it's because I like had the most recent book I read before Six of Crows was Winter. Matthias and Nina really reminded me a lot of Scarlet and Wolf, but this was done way better than Scarlet and Wolf, I will admit. So I was like, I like this. This is good. And Matthias, I just kept getting like a Derek vibe. Like I was getting like a Derek Braden type thing going on.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, basically. Oh God, what did I do? I put it on. I Instagram that shit. Give me a second. I'm trying to find it. It's just fun. I love couples like that. I love the couples that are supposed to hate each other. Like it just has my favorite couples, man.
Oh man, and their banter was some of the best.
Yes, it was done so well, and it's just so cute. And I love overly flirty girls with guys who act like it's not affecting them, and then it is.
One of my favorite parts was when like after he rescues her and like he does the double cross on his old boss, and she just goes, "You're just like once we get onto the ship, I'm going to kiss you until you go unconscious." I'm like, there you go, yeah.
Oh, the Wylan and Jesperon was the what do you like? Music, numbers, equations. They're not like words. They don't get mixed up. If only you could talk to girls in equations. There was a long silence, and then eyes trailed on to the notch they had created in the link. Wylan said, just girls. Jesper restrained a grin. No, not just girls. And I was like, yes, that's just happened.
Yeah. I was like, oh, man. I'm like, there it is. I'm like, they're hinting at it. Go ahead and do it.
Oh, and then this was a line about them with Nina and him. They were talking about discipline. It's like, what does that have to do with anything? Discipline, routine. Does it mean nothing to you? Dejel, I can't wait to have a bed to myself again. Right, said Nina. I can feel just how much you hate sleeping next to me. I feel it every morning. And why do you have to say things like that? Because I like it when you turn red. And I'm like, yes.
It was awesome, and I love when like they first like get to the island and like obviously like their clothes are soaking wet. Nina has like no problem; she just instantly strips, and Matthias is like, "Whoa, what the fuck?"
It was very Derek-like, and I'm just like, yes to all of this.
Oh man!
And then we're gonna talk about Inej and Kaz because they were the couple you
that
happened.
Yeah,
and don't really happen, and it hurts.
That was my favorite, but that was also the most frustrating because again, like I relate so much to Kaz, and I've seen myself do this so much that I'm like, you idiot! What are you doing? I know where you're going. I've done that before. You're gonna regret it.
So yeah, it's fun. I love when characters are like, I shouldn't like this person, and they know they shouldn't because of reasons, because they're bad people, and they acknowledge it, but they still do, and I'm like, oh, because they purpose.
One of my favorite little ship moments was it towards the very beginning where like they're talking, and then Kaz is just changing his clothes after they dealt with like the other gang. And she's trying not to look at him, and then like she looks at him, and she's like, "Oh man, oh god, damn."
I love those moments. Those are like my favorite moments in all young adult books when you have characters that do shit like that, and you get to have the awkward one and the one that just like, I'm totally not paying attention to you being here.
It was so good, and like I love when she was like, I lost all my modesty, she's like, she lost all her modesty at when she used to work at the brothel, but she's like, I wonder how Kaz would react if I started doing that in front of him. She's like, he probably would have just told me not to drip on his desk.
Yes, I loved all of that. I like how they think about each other. It's very fun because she's like, he totally doesn't like me, and then when she finds out how he killed someone for her, it was like, oh. But then she denies it all again to like the end of the book.
And then he's always thinking, he's like, man, I'm such a dick to her. She probably hates my guts. Like she doesn't like me.
I don't know mean jokes I said. Like, oh.
Yeah, and then when he admits to that he likes her, and he says, like, stay with me, please, stay in Ketterdam, don't leave. I want you. And then when she said, and she says, what's the point? You're never gonna touch me. We're never gonna kiss and all that stuff. And she doesn't know about his whole PTSD about touching things because of like how he was surrounded by bodies as a kid. So he doesn't like skin to skin contact, which I thought was a really cool twist.
Yeah, I
And
really
that explains the gloves. And I was like, oh man. I'm like, oh, poor Kaz, and he's trying so hard. She touches his face, she like cuffs his cheek, and then I'm like, they're about yes, and I'm like, do it, do it. It's all right, it's right there. It's right in front of you. And he doesn't. And when she says, you could, I'm not going to stay unless you give me a reason to stay. And I'm like, and then like her internal monologue says, "Speak, please speak." And then like Cass says nothing, and I'm like, oh, why? Why did you do that?
A lot to you. Like it's one of those books where you get those moments and a lot, and it hurts because you want happiness, but they're not gonna get it till like the second book. But I love that they're all gonna have to band together to go find our girl and like save her. And she fought so hard.
And you know she's gonna break out herself anyway.
Because, I know that. It's gonna be great.
And that's just no damsel in distress. None of these women were damsels in distress. None of these men were either. So I'm glad that like it was equal in that regard. Like everybody was equally badass, and nobody was useless.
I'm excited to see them go to save her, and there's gonna be like in my head, I'm picturing like fires everywhere, all this shit, and she just comes out with like a shit ton of money, and just like, hey guys, and just like, we got a boat for you, or like whatever the situation's like. Oh, okay, let's go then.
Yeah, it's like I already kind of stole a boat, but I mean, if you guys brought one.
I mean, yeah, like I want to see how that goes. Like I'm excited to be like, well, I got my own books at boat, so how about you guys go and I'll follow you? Like I don't know. So yeah, I'm excited.
And I'm glad that this is only a duology because I feel like it shouldn't be stretched to a trilogy because I feel like they only need one more part to finish this.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
There was a long first book too. Like it could either have been one really long ass book or two, and I'm okay with two. And if I get a third, I want short stories. I want random shit. I don't want like a new one. I want like prequel shit. A bunch.
I mean, I would like some prequel shit, but mostly for like I would like some stuff with Nina and Inej because we got a lot of Kaz's stuff, so we don't need any more prequel stuff with Kaz.
I'd want more Nina and Inej. I'd want more Wyland's backstory with his dad. I'd want more.
Yeah.
And I'd probably want more of Nej's thing with her crazy bitch lady, only because like I want more of that.
You know what that reminded me of for some reason, and that reminded me a lot of Aelin / Selena from Throne of Glass. I just kept getting that vibe. I was like, you remind me a lot of this really badass lady from my other favorite fantasy series.
Yeah, I got that vibe. I want more of that type of stuff. Like I want to see what things were like. But like we did get a lot of it, but I wouldn't mind more if that makes sense. Like I wouldn't mind more.
Yeah. Like honestly, like it's weird. I really didn't enjoy the Grisha trilogy all that much, but I loved the hell out of this book. And if she just keeps making books in this world, and she just ends up being like what Cassie does, and she just continues to make book after book set in this world. Just they don't have to be connected at all. Just be in this world with the weirdly unpronounceable names. With the pseudo kind of analog countries like Fierden is obviously Germany, Ravka is Russia. I'm pretty sure Katterdam is America, and then I think Novia Zem, where Kaz is from, is supposed to be Britain. Like the Britain type country.
Cool. I'm okay with that. It's something that I want to do too as a writer. Like it's fun to be in your comfort zone, but I also want to see them challenge themselves, both for Cassandra and this girl, Leah. I want to see them do more because they can. But I get it. I get all of why they're doing it all in their world. So yeah, let's end it.
And the world is so cool. Like I wouldn't want to leave either. Like
I totally get it. But I also don't want them to burn themselves out. Like Rochelle Paul doing Vampire Academy because she did 6 books each.
Yep.
And that's a long time in the world. Like same for J.K. Rowling with Harry Potter. Not that I don't want more. Of course I want fucking more. I got 7 books from it and all these adorable little tiny books. But like I'm just saying, I get why you pause when you do so much of it.
Exactly. You got to take a break sometime. You can only take so much of doing the same thing.
Yeah, so they're all gonna blur together character-wise. Like you're gonna you work so hard to make your characters all be different people, but there's gonna come to a point where you're gonna where they're just gonna be repeats of the same people without meaning to. because
Yeah.
it's in the same world for so long. So yeah, great book. Recommend it. Go read it. Go Audible it. Go do.
And also, after you finish, have fun, go to the Grishaverse website and take the quiz and see what character you get, and then put it in the comments here because we want to know. I got Kaz, which I totally expected. Like I wasn't even looking. I didn't even really think, oh, that's a Kaz answer. I was like, this is a me answer. This is a me answer, and I'm like, oh, I got Kaz. I knew it. I figured.
I got Nina. I had a feeling because there was one of the questions like, how do you deal with stress? And I was like, yeah, I eat food. And I like that. It's cute. I like that she had candy with her. Just it was fun. It's a fun character. It's a fun universe. It's a fun book. If you want to go back and read the others, go ahead. But we're recommending this one a lot more. So,
yeah, you don't really need it. I feel like this sets up the world just as much. It might make you want to read the other ones, but I'm just gonna let you know right now, at least in my opinion, this wasn't as well done. But then again, like Grisha, I believe was her first set of books, so that's kind of like with the Mortal Instruments with Cassia. Like, of course, the Infernal Devices is better than the Mortal Instruments because she's had more time. It's further in her career. She's gotten better as a writer.
The first 3 Mortal Instruments books aren't bad. The later ones get better. That's because she was but yeah, we'll talk about that more when we do our Mortal Instruments and Dark Art of Infernal Devices reaction video, probably sometime Sunday. Sometime Sunday.
Yeah.
Not one Sunday, but Sunday. So yeah. Thank you for watching. This is Mimi and that's Jeremy.
All right, guys. Hope you had fun with this discussion.
Yeah. Bye.